Morning, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. Purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause merely means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the state attorney's office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning. That is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you haven't had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When I call your name, please step forward to the podium. Kimberly Bowen. Morning, Kimberly. What's your date of birth?
December 10th, 1962.
Kimberly, you're here on a violation of probation warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for the VOP. The folks at probation are recommending 30 days in the county jail. If you'd like to accept that this morning, you sure can. If you'd rather have a chance to speak to an attorney first, of course you can do that. What do you think you'd like to do?
I would like to speak to an attorney. May I speak
Yeah,
to you,
well,
sir?
you can, but I really warn you against saying anything about the case.
Okay.
There's not much value there. And the other thing about speaking to an attorney, I'm happy to have you do it, but you understand you're not getting out of jail today, no matter what.
I do understand that.
Okay. All right. You want me to appoint the public defender?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll appoint the PD. Bond on the warrant is no bond. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to have you back in court on December 7th. Public defender will come see you before then, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Susan Desmarias. Morning, Susan. What's your date of birth?
1/12/59.
The charge is misuse of 911. There's probable cause for the charge. As for that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
I may have just a moment, Judge.
Sure.
I understand the offer and time served this morning. She wishes to accept that. If not, she does have a bit of a history.
Okay. Susan, would you like to resolve your case this morning with time served? You could plead no contest. I'd sentence you to the 1 day in jail you've already done, and you'd be out this morning. Is that something you're interested in?
Yes, please.
Very good. You understand by having a plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer represent you, but you're willing to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes.
As to the charge of misuse of 911, how do you wish to plead? You may plead no contest.
No
I'll
contest.
accept that plea, find it is freely and voluntarily made. I will adjudicate you guilty of the charge, sentence you to 1 day in the county jail, credit 1 day served, fine and court cost is $5.53, $50 for the day in jail. I'll unappoint the public defender so you don't have to pay for that. That takes care of it, Susan. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you will be released today, okay?
So I don't have to come back?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you.
Allison Lester.
Please stop talking.
Ms. Lester, what's your date of birth?
1/11/82.
Such we have two charges this morning, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD. State what can you tell me?
I've had checks in 05, which were dropped, 06 in FTA, 06 paraphernalia, misdemeanor cannabis, 09. Improper exhibition of a firearm, which is a withhold. 2011, she violated probation. 2012, Willis. And so I'm showing you.
And Allison, I have an address for you on Castle Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
9 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
I work in marketing for a lawnmower repairman, Badland Lakes.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $1,000 on each, so that's a total of $2,000. You'll be back in court on the 7th of December. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Jamie St. Hilaire. Morning, Jamie. What's your date of birth?
8/31/90.
Jamie, I have a warrant for you out of Hillsborough County. The judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for a violation of probation and set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We will let the folks in Hillsborough know that you're here and ready to go. I'll give them 5 days to come get you. If you're still here in 5 days, they'll bring you back to see me and I'll find out what the problem is, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Jonathan Karen? Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
5/22/88.
Jonathan, I have two warrants for you today. One was signed by Judge Neal, the other by Judge Merritt. Both found probable cause for a grand theft auto. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself, you're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender? I'll appoint the PD. Stay with me.
Starting in 06, failure to register motor vehicle. 2009, misdemeanor cannabis, which is a withhold. 2009, FTA, times 2. DUI, 2009, it's a conviction. 2009, misdemeanor cannabis. 2009, FTA. 2009, several FTAs. 2010, marijuana distribution and DUI and a probation violation. 2010, probation violation. 2010, FTAs. 2010, forgery and grand theft. 2010, controlled substance without prescription. Also Prazolam. Also Dwellis. 2011, obtained controlled substance by fraud. And an FTA and a Dwellis. And a misdemeanor DV, all convictions. 2012 FTA, 2012 FTA, 2013 resisting without. It's a withhold, a petty theft withhold. 2013 FTA, 2014 FTA, times several, times many. 2015 grand theft. 2015 felony elude, conviction, as well as felony Willis, controlled substance without prescription, and paraphernalia, all convictions. 2016. All kinds of stuff with no resolution showing Willis, aggravated fleeing elude, paraphernalia, oxy, aggravated battery, law enforcement, shoplifting. Again, no resolution showing any of that stuff.
Okay. Jonathan, I have an address for you on Royal Palm Way in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
4 years.
Do you have a job these days?
No, sir.
I'll set the bond at $5,000 on each count. That's a total of $10,000. They'll be back on the 7th of December. If you're able to get out, you should contact the PD. Otherwise, they'll come see you at the jail. Thank you. Mark Anthony Pavone. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
February 3rd, 2000.
I have 6 counts this morning. I have 1 armed burglary of a conveyance and 5 burglaries of a conveyance. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
Appoint the PD, state.
Usually first offense is drug.
And sir, I have an address for you on Landover Boulevard in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
18 years.
And you have a job today, these days? You're in school? What are you doing?
It's like temporary because it's seasonal, and winter's coming up, but we were doing landscaping.
Okay. All right. On the armed burglary, I'll set the bond at $1,000. On each of the 5 burglaries at $500. That's going to be a total of $3,500. I'm going to have you back in court on the 7th of December. Very important that you contact the PD when you get out. All right?
Judge, can you tell me his co-defendant status while on Colon? I mean, maybe a conflict while I'm asking this.
I suspect he's a juvenile.
I didn't know you
Yes,
did.
because he's not on the list.
Okay.
Arlen Hallmark. Want to start with your date of birth?
9/24/1968.
Arlen, you're hearing a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. Apparently you failed to appear in his court on the 26th of June on a felony to Willis. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I was incarcerated since May.
That's the most common reason people fail to appear. This is how we get you back on the docket, okay?
Okay.
You want the PD?
Can we take care of it today so I can get back to the
No,
prison?
unfortunately, it's a felony, Arlen, so I can't do that. I got to get you to Judge Merritt, but I'll do that in a couple of weeks here. That's as fast as I can get you there.
Well, they said when they picked me up, they had a court date for me the 13th. Is that one still?
No, that's not the court date I have. Do you want the public defender?
Yes.
All right. I'll appoint the public defender. The bond is no bond. I'll send you back to court on the 27th of November. PD will come see you before then. I'm sure you'll get it worked out, all right? Thank you. Joshua Hamlet. Well, Joshua, what's your date of birth?
11/4/83.
All right. Joshua, I've got a warrant for you. Looks like a VOP through the United States Marshals Service. The bond on that, of course, is no bond. We will give them 5 days to come get you. If you're still here in 5, they'll bring you back to see me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Stephen Murphy. Morning, Stephen. What's your date of birth?
10/15/87.
Stephen, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for a trespass. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
Do you have a minute, Judge?
Sure.
Juvenile, 2004. Heroin possession, 2007. Like the misdemeanor, marijuana, so Whitlow, 2007. Alcohol under the age of 21, 2007. Burglary with assaulted battery. Dunderberg structure, 2007. Violated probation, 2008. DUI. Conviction, 2009. Violated probation, 2011. DV, resisting without. Both convictions, as well as battery misdemeanor, 2011, DV strangulation, like the felony battery, as well as misdemeanor criminal mischief, as well as harassing victim or informants, all convictions, 2013, Willis and an FTA. 2013, more FTAs, 2014, DV, let's say DV assault, which is conviction, 2014, violation of injunction, 2014, violation of injunction conviction, 2014, drug substance prescription, as well as a new legend, as well as disturbing peace and resisting without. Yep, all convictions. 2015 DV, second or subsequent, which was dropped. 2016 Willis. 2018, back in March, misdemeanor DV conviction. That's all I'm showing you, Ron.
Okay. And Stephen, I got an address here on Washington Ave in Missouritown. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About 13 years.
Do you have a job these days?
I was supposed to start one today.
Okay. What sort of job was it?
Framing.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $2,000. I'll have you back in court on the 7th of December. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender right away, okay?
Okay.
Jesus Ramirez. Want to, sir, what's your date of birth?
7/26/84.
Jesus, I have 3 warrants for you out of Pinellas County. Each one of them is a failed to appear warrant. The first one, the bond is $513. The second one, the bond is $2,013. And on the third one, it's $5,313. If you had the ability to post those bonds, you'd get out of jail here, go down to St. Pete, find out when they want you back in court. If you can't post those bonds, I'll give them 5 days to come get you. If you're still here in 5, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Brandon Sublime.
Your Honor, can we have this defendant confirm the spelling of his name?
Brandon, what's your date of birth?
2/20/92.
Brandon, will you please spell your first and last names for me?
BRANDONSEGUINE.
Thank you.
All right, Brandon, I have 5 charges this morning. I got possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of firearm by a felon, possession of ammunition by a felon, and possession of a short-barrel shotgun. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
2015 possession of cocaine conviction, as well as possession of methamphetamine conviction, as well as misdemeanor cannabis conviction and heroin conviction. And paraphernalia. 2015, carrying a weapon, which is a misdemeanor conviction, possession of controlled substance, possession of cannabis misdemeanor, and paraphernalia, all convictions. 2016 FTAs, multiples. 2016 failure to return leased property, which is a conviction, felony, as well as an FTA. 2016 false name to Leo, conviction. Willis, conviction, misdemeanor. 2016 violates probation on possession of controlled substance. 2016 grand theft, conviction. 2016 a series of FTAs. 2017 possession of controlled substance conviction times 2. Paraphernalia. 2017 possession of weapon by convicted felon, which is dropped. 2017 Willis and an FTA. Many FTAs. 2017 grand theft auto, which was dropped. 2018 back in August, false name to Leo, which is conviction. And October 2018 grand theft auto, no disposition showing, but I'm not sure he's happened as an open case.
All right, Brandon, where you been staying lately? You been staying with family or friends or living outdoors? What's the situation?
No, I've been staying with friends,
Okay.
people I work with.
Okay. So the friend have an address?
Yeah, 8366 Coral Street.
Okay. And you have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
Finished carpentry and home remodeling.
All right. I'm going to leave your bonds for the schedule. That's $2,000 on the meth, $1,000 on the paraphernalia, $10,000 on the weapon and the ammo, and $5,000 on the short barrel shotgun. That's a total of $28,000. You'll be back in court on the 7th of December. If you get out, you should go see the public defender. Otherwise, they're going to come see you at the jail. All right? Thank you. James Williams. Officer Williams, what's your date of birth?
03/26/92, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, you have 2 charges this morning of battery being domestic in nature and tampering or harassing a witness or victim. There's probable cause for those 2 charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I have private counsel, Your Honor.
Very good. Does your lawyer know where you are this morning?
No, he does not.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. State what you tell me.
05 juvenile criminal mischief, 05 juvenile battery, 05 juvenile burglary to a structure, 05 juvenile battery, 06 juvenile trespass occupied structure, 06 juvenile burg dwelling and burg tools, both were dropped. 06 as a juvenile, a burglary and a battery. 07 as a juvenile, grand theft auto, just grand theft, which is dropped. 07 as a juvenile, burglary and grand theft auto. Looks like both of those are dropped. 08 as a juvenile, FTAs. 08 as a juvenile, disorderly conduct. 08 as a juvenile, burglary and unoccupied conveyance. 08 as a juvenile, battery. 09 as a juvenile, robbery by sudden snatching. 09 as an adult, it looks like that was upended to an adult court, robbery by sudden snatching, which resulted in a conviction. Times 2, aggravated abuse of the elderly, which is also a conviction. Looks like you went to prison for a stint, released in 2014. 2015, leave the scene of an accident, misdemeanor, put on probation. 2015, FTAs times 2. 2018, violated his probation. And that's all I'm showing, Judge.
Yes, sir, I have an address for you on Larkin Road in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About 8 years, Your Honor.
And does Miss Higgins live there as well?
She does, but she is also able to remain at that household due to the fact that I own 2 houses in this area. And
I just wanted to know if she lives there. Yes or no?
Yes, she does. Your
Okay.
Honor.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I'm a heavy equipment operator for a construction company. I'm in a salary position.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $500 on each count. That's a total of $1,000. Condition of those bonds is that you have no contact with Ms. Higgins. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. You don't contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond will be revoked and you'll be held without bond until these charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants to contact, so if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she gets to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter. That decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they're not dropped and you should not have contact. In addition, I have to hold you today up until 4 p.m., so if you wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. To get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only would you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as Larkin Road goes, if she stays there, obviously you'll have to stay someplace else. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need, wherever you plan to go. To do that, however, you must contact the sheriff's office, and they'll meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you pick up your things and get going where you're going, all right?
Yes, sir.
I'll have you back in court on the 7th of December. What's that?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
When it comes to you said they have to hold me until 4 p.m.
Yep.
Now, does that mean that I can still post my bond? Will my bond still show so my bondsman can post it?
Yep.
And
You can have it all ready to go. Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank
All
you, sir.
right. You bet. Scott Williams.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
11/14/69.
Scott, this is a warrant that I signed. Apparently you failed to appear in my court on a charge of no proper endorsement. State, is this something that you can resolve today?
Adjudication pay goes
There
there.
you go. Scott, if you want to resolve this case today, I would
Yes.
adjudicate you today guilty and assess a fine and court costs of $488, and then you'd be on your own to set up a payment plan for that. Sound like something you want to do?
Fair enough.
All right. You understand by entering a plea today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent. Do you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 18CT3314. As to the charge that you didn't have the proper endorsement, probably motorcycle, how do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
Guilty.
I'll accept the plea. Fine is freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Assess the fine and court costs of $488. If there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you'll be released today, all right?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. James Venata. Morning, James. Date of birth?
5776, sir.
James, the charge this morning is witness tampering. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like a public defender?
Private counsel, please.
All right. And then I suspect the cases from yesterday aren't even in the system yet, right?
Did he say yes to the PD?
Yes. No, he said private.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's here. Yesterday he had a criminal mischief and stalking. All right. What I'll do here then, James, on these charges, or this charge, I'll set a bond of $1,000. I'll have this back on the 7th of December, and then on the charges from yesterday, which were a criminal mischief and a stalking, as I warned you, I will now revoke your pretrial release in those cases, and you'll be held without bond until they come back to court, okay?
Your Honor, me reaching out was prior to my first...
This really is an issue for you to discuss with your lawyer, okay?
It was an honest mistake. It was prior from
Okay.
prior to...
I read a transcript of what you said, and it's clear that you knew you weren't supposed to be having the conversation.
So I was
you're going to be
unaware.
without bond. You better get a hold of your lawyer so that they can figure it out for you, okay? All right. Anything else, Jim? Thank you.
Nothing.